5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denal.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. Well, NASA has made an unexpected announcement that a Canadian astronaut will be part of the first manned Artemis mission that will circle the moon prior to a lunar landing. You'll hear from 3 Canadian astronauts next on About Space today. This is your host of About Space, inviting you to join our Spring Come and See special at the Best Western on Cocoa Beach on any Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. You stay for 3 nights but only pay for 2. And included are 2 tickets to the Kennedy Space Center and 2 tickets to the live worldwide broadcast of About Space Today. And plus there's a full breakfast daily and all the amenities of the hotel for just $215 per person for 4 days and 3 nights. That's $215 for 4 days and 3 nights at an oceanfront resort. For reservations or information, email ddcruise@andtours.com or call 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. And come on down to see the Space Coast. He has and is contributing to the space program. Josh Koch from Saskatchewan, Alberta, is a lieutenant colonel in the Royal Canadian Air Force. Josh, what's been the reaction to the announcement that a Canadian astronaut will crew the first mission in more than 50 years to circle the moon?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of work to be done by all of us in developing the technologies and the architectures for these missions. I think that the reaction to that has been one of excitement and pride and probably inspiration as well. So the International Corps here in Houston is over the moon excited, I'll say that today, by the prospect of these missions and by the opportunity for scientific discovery and innovation that they represent. As Canadian astronauts, I think that we're particularly proud to be representing Canada in this context. And we're also proud to have built here at the Canadian Space Agency our core of highly trained and ready professional astronauts, all of whom are ready for these missions and the ones that will follow. And finally, I would say that we're all feeling particularly inspired right now in a way that I hope all Canadians can feel inspired. We're inspired by the Canadian leadership we see in this bold endeavor to go to the moon, and we're inspired by our history. We've always been on the leading edge of space exploration, going back to our first people with Marc Garneau and Roberta Bondar. And it's inspiring for me to look forward and think that that legacy is going to continue in a way that benefits all Canadians by taking some of us to the moon and eventually maybe even beyond.
Our next guest is Canadian astronaut Jenny Sidney Gibson. Well, she reached her dream of becoming an astronaut thanks to inspiring role models, her passion for science, and her mother's support. And now she tries to be a role model herself, encouraging the next generation of Canadians to pursue a career in technology, science, engineering, and mathematics. So, Jenny, what kind of scientific discoveries do you hope to see?
I'm glad that you asked that, because the potential for scientific discovery on the moon with the Lunar Gateway is really exciting, and it's new. And it's varied as well. I mean, it ranges from mapping the lunar surface to enabling higher definition. And the Apollo program was an amazing program that facilitated some incredible science, and we learned a lot about our own planet and our own moon, but we were limited in the sites that we could visit. Now, what the Lunar Gateway and its orbit is going to allow us to do is to visit a bunch of different sites on the moon, some of which have liquid or water ice on them. So we understand now that if we can gain some more expertise and learn about the distribution of water, we can gain this key insight into the next steps that we need to complete in order to set up sustainable bases on other planetary bodies in our solar system. So that's going to be really cool to find out. Canada scientists are also really interested in studying the geological record of the moon and the geological processes that form the moon's surface. Now that gives us hints not only as to how our own moon formed, but also lets us know about the composition and characteristics of other terrestrial planets in our solar. We learn about other moons, icy moons of other planets, and even smaller objects like asteroids. Finally, I'll also say that the moon just provides this incredible test bed for us to test things like new rover technologies. And those become these roaming scientific platforms that we can deploy on any other rocky planetary surface we might be able to reach. So there is a lot to learn. And this announcement is pretty exciting, as you say, because it means that Canada and Canadians will be there to help facilitate all of that new science.
Next is a modern-day explorer. Jeremy Hansen has lived in underground caves, did geological training expeditions in the high Arctic, and generally craves adventure. And prior to his selection as one of Canada's newest astronauts, Hansen was in the Royal Canadian Air Force. He was a captain piloting the CF-18 fighter jet at CFB Cold Lake, Alberta. So what does this mission mean to you, Jeremy?
You know, when I think about Artemis 2, this mission it's similar to the Apollo 8 mission in 1968. This is when humans left their new spacecraft. But as they came around the backside of that famous photo, that photo of the entire globe hanging in the blackness of space, and we saw our entire planet for the first time, its beauty, its fragility. We were reminded that we're all in this together. And this is what excites me about this, is this time when we return to the moon, our eyes are fixed back on our planet and the challenges that face us right here on Earth. Setting big goals in space exploration, for example, the International Space Station, that has strengthened our ability to collaborate. And that same collaboration is required as we tackle big global challenges like climate change. And Canada, in my opinion, just has so much to offer the global community. As was highlighted multiple times today, space is changing rapidly. The commercial opportunities are immense. There are even new commercial opportunities now around human exploration and even space robotics. What I would really love to communicate to our Canadian youth minister is that they should know that our future in space is bright. We are leveraging decades of experience and commitment to be major players in this emerging economy. I think it is visionary and so important for Canada.
Our thanks to the Canadian astronauts about the excitement of being the only country beside the United States to circle the moon. And be sure to have your family and friends listen each Tuesday with me on About Space Today, and on Fridays, America in Space with Rick Potluck from our Washington Bureau. And follow us on Facebook at aboutspace.today. And today we begin a weekly shout out to our neighbors around the globe. And today my shout out is to Canada with its many listeners. And to all of our friends in the U.S., thank you for listening. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.